Okay, so today we are getting a contractor to do some seeding for us. So they're going to power harrow one of the fields of Summer Hill. We're going to put a worming mix in there, so it should help us keep everything kind of clear of parasites without having to rely on chemicals, which is exactly where we want to be going in the future. So this is the mix.
So we've used Cotswold seeds for things in the past and they're really good to deal with. They do a standard worming mix, but our ground's slightly acidic, slightly heavy, so we've spoke to them and they've changed it a bit for us, so it should cope. So this is what's in it. There's a bit of Timothy in it, which just gives them a bit of standard grazing, but hopefully this will make quite a difference. So just wrote Summer Hill on this one because this is the so the contractor knows where to put this bag. So we're going to hopefully do another field in Amroth as well, which is, I don't know, a mile or two away, but we might as well, while we've got them, we might as well try to do a bit of both. But that'll be a different mix. So this field's been topped now, which is good really. It's neatened it up a lot. There's quite a lot of thistles and just junk really. It's a high nature status thing, which means we can't graze it at certain points of the year and we can't top it at certain points of the year. So we've had to do it quite late really. But it's definitely a lot tidier now.
So again, this field's had quite a lot of long grass. Not so many weed species, or not weed species for me anyway, not like thistles and stuff. But it's just too long really to get the seed on, so we just topped it right back quite harsh. Power harrow it, get the seed on, and then either roll it or walk it in with a load of sheep maybe. We'll see, depends on what the weather's like and stuff. But yeah, hopefully they'll come back and do that. This is going to be our worming paddock, so it's about 1.5 acres. So we'll electric fence it off in sections and we'll put them in and out of it quite regularly as a plan. It could do with being a bit more central really. I suppose it is quite central. We could just do with a gate on the far side, which we may do eventually, I guess, if we're allowed. But we'll see. We'll see how we get on with it first. It might not work, but hopefully it will. So this field is going to be our medicine cabinet basically. So we're going to use this field instead of wormers. So we're going to plant a lot of anti-parasitic grasses and herbs in here. We'll plant some. There's some Timothy in the mix as well, just to give them a bit of just decent kind of stomach contents, really, a bit of sustenance. But it's going to be a pretty diverse herb-heavy mix. So there's some of our trays of seedlings. So we've got a few trays of salad mix. 5 I think. It's mostly mustards and stuff. It's winter salads now. This is a tray of radish, which is starting to yellow a bit, so I think we need to really get them in the ground. We've got some spring onions. Right, so we're just cleaning up the beds. Finished harvesting the last of the potatoes, which were in this row. So we've done about half, but we just finished. Well, I just finished putting those up. That bed's actually had a bit of fresh compost on top, not a lot, but just a little bit, because we hadn't actually used any compost on that. We just planted the potatoes in freshish muck, so we thought it'd be best if, well, I thought it'd be best if we just put a bit on there just to help suppress the weeds a little bit. See, this one over here has just been raked out. So these are some spring onions. So this one's just the old compost raked out. We had the black sided sheet on this half of this row, should keep the weeds down. You can see they kind of could have probably left on a bit longer, but they've kind of bleached out, so we'll just hoe it in maybe a week or so if anything starts to germinate between the rows. And then that one hasn't been done yet, so that needs quick weeding and then raking out the old compost, just putting out the last couple of bits of lettuce. I'm going to plant something in there as well. And that one actually has been hoed, but where the broad beans were over here, So we had some broad beans there, but it's been hoed but not raked yet. So that can be tidied up in a bit as well. So I just put a centre string down the bed and did approximate 6-inch spacings for this winter salad mix. You can see they're not that straight, to be honest. I need to make some form of, or a couple of dibbing tools I think, that have set kind of gaps, in the hope we can just follow a string and make the holes quicker, because this took quite a while really. It's longer than I would like it to. They're about as small as we could get away with as well. So we used about a tray and a half I think for this part bed. So yeah, it's four wide on the bed. We could probably do 5 if the edges weren't disappearing, because we haven't got enough wood chip by a million miles. It seems to want a lot of money for it. The compost edges kind of disappear a bit. So hopefully once we've got the wood chip in, we can probably do 5, I think. We'll see. But you can see they're not that straight, but they should do the job. Close-ish. There's some spring onions at the other end of this, which will be ready in a month or 2, I guess. And then we've got some chives and a few odd multi-sown leeks. So we've just put a couple of Shetland ram lambs and Weather lambs out into a field with Ed, who's knocking around at hours at the moment because he's getting bullied by the bigger rams. But he's quite enjoying the fact these guys are a lot smaller than him, so he's not going to get bullied. If anything, he seems a little bit frisky with some of them, but they're all boys, so I think he's maybe just a bit confused or missing girls or something. I'm not quite sure, but they all seem to be getting on well enough. So we've got a few ewe lambs just on a small sal in what we call the willow pen. So they're in the sort of middle half of it at the moment, on an electric fence, and they were kind of up here before. You can see they've grazed it, well, as hard as we want them to really. See, there's still big stalky bits stood up. I don't know if you can see that, but there is, which is perfect for insect life and stuff. People say sheep hammer ground and they're rubbish for nature, but it's really dependent on how you graze it. If you've got this old school approach that you want everything to be down to like an inch, then yeah, they're probably pretty rubbish. But the way we do it, there's still probably, we've still got a few stalky bits of grass that are probably 18 inches, 22 foot even maybe. And some people say that's not good for sheep, but it is good for nature, and the rest of the grass is good for sheep, so it kind of works for us. So we were just going to come and feed the lambs. They're supposed to be in the orchard, but they're actually in my veg. Thankfully, about 3 parsnips. They weren't in the orchard about 5 minutes ago, so they have literally only just got out. No, that's a parsnip. Go on! No, go on! Back to where you came from, you little bugger. Yes, I will get you your dinner soon. Whoa! Whoa! Go on! Go on! Well, if you go the open side of the gate, that would help, wouldn't it? Go on! Go on! Should we open the gate the other way then? Give you two half a second chance. Back to the parsnips. On the upside, they are nice chunky lambs enjoying a little stretch. No, that's beetroot. You definitely can't eat that. No, spring onions. There, my radishes. Oh, go on. It's quite awkward. They can jump the veg, I can't.
No, that's a bonfire pile. Muppet. Go on, go on. Right. So they were. So only a small group. We're sort of trying to do a bit of mini mob grazing. So they were just in a hurdle pen, and but frankly, you can see there's still loads of grass. At least you didn't escape, Blue. Anyway, you might put them on something fresh now. So these guys are already outside enjoying the sunshine. They're actually only a couple of days old. They're kind of curious to know what Mum's up to. And she is eating her dinner. So this is Dinky. She's our only non-Welsh sow. So she's a Gloucester Old Spot Cross sow. Well, she's got Welsh cross piglets. You see, they've got, I don't know if you can see actually, the light's not great in there, but I think most of them have retreated into the house now. We did have a wooden board across the doorway, but she's pushed that over. So they're kind of enjoying the sun, but it's a nice warm day. Oops, nice warm day, so it's not too bad. Enjoying exploring. So we're just going to move some sows. They've been with the boar. Come on, Nora. We've actually got a Nora and a dainty girl. So we're just going to walk them across the yard. Hopefully, won't it? At the moment they are getting a little bit distracted by just about everything. Come on then. You can see this pen's not had pigs in it for a little while. Grass is kind of starting to grow at the far side there. So this is an Eleonora. She's an old sow actually. You can see one of her teats is all kind of, well, it's gone really. So arguably we shouldn't breed from her, but she has really good pigs. And I wanted another litter from her because they're really good pigs. And this is a dainty girl who is, well, clearly she's been enjoying the fact she's kept outdoors. So she got the option of wallowing, keeping cool, which thankfully all of our pigs do. You can see this nice big pen. She's just been, well, they've just been in the boar pen, which is bigger than this actually. Well, there's 4 pigs in there at the moment. Well, there was, now 2. And 2 of them are here. So yeah, you can see it's nice, but there's also some trees just outside it, so they get a nice bit of shade at different points in the day. See there's some kale growing in the pen we've rested below this, which we'll put some pigs in later in the year when we've got no grass to put young pigs on. We'll put them on the kale instead. Anyway, I should shut the gate really before they explore the yard again. These ladies have been in this field for, well, a good few weeks now. It was really long, like a lot of the grass here at the moment because we haven't cut it. But you can see they've trampled a lot, but that's not a bad thing. That's really good, it builds carbon in the soils. You see, they're actually not in bad nick. I literally, we've checked them obviously quite a few times, but that is it. Just been eating the grass. Well, I've got a bucket of feed in my hand at the moment because they used to come into the noise of a bucket. But, I'll just see if they'll go through the little gate rather than open up the big one. So the little one's a new one. On a footpath, so Yeah, they're pretty keen on the extra grass. Could have probably done it without the bucket. Come on then, ladies. I will feed them, otherwise they'll start thinking the noise is kind of fake. Right, typical badger face, she's quite happy on her own with the grass. It's a bit of a mixed bag. We've got some badger face, some Welsh badger face mountain sheep, a couple of Shetlands, just some white Welsh, well, Glamorgan Welsh sheep, which are the white ones but with brown faces. You've got a couple of long wool crossbred things in there, some grey faced Dartmoor crosses, and small Shetlands, more Welsh. But this field's normally we cut all this land, but the weather we had, it was really slow to grow early and it just wasn't ready for cutting, so we just let it go. And we've topped a couple of the fields that were a bit weedy, but this wasn't. It's usually quite a good hay field, to be honest, but I guess we could do a late cut on it now, but don't really need the bales, to be honest, and these girls will be quite happy to see some nice green grass. So you can see this is one of the fields we topped. It was really weedy, to be honest. There was a lot of nettles and thistles, and there was quite a lot of hedge type plants like blackthorn starting to come out from the hedge and kind of encroach into the field. So it just had to be done, really. So obviously there's a lot of dead grass on it, or sort of old cut grass on it now. But the grass is starting to grow back through it, which is okay. It's not a pretty field. Wouldn't make a dairy farmer happy, but not really where we're at, to be honest, so it doesn't really bother me too much. So this field's also it's the first field we kind of come into, and the sheep were in it for a bit too long probably in the winter, and it got quite overgrazed in places, and it was quite wet at one point, and we had a lot of thistles come up kind of in this middle area here anyway. So this needed topping, but we grazed it first with the sheep. So we grazed it for a couple of weeks, and then just with a small group of sheep, and then we topped it. And actually that's taken a lot of the weight out of it, so there's still some carbon left that's kind of going to rot in and build carbon in the soil, but there isn't as much of it because the sheep have already eaten it, and obviously that's turned into muck, so it's going back into the soil anyway. But it's growing for a bit cleaner, which obviously isn't so bad, and we've kind of divided this one a bit just so we can kind of use it to help. It should make life a lot easier getting the wilder sheep into the handling system. Right, so we've just sorted out a little group of ewes, so we've split them into ewes we're going to lamb again, and ewes that are going to go into the meat, so they're going to go into meat boxes or whatever. So these are the ones we're going to lamb again. Out of this group, so there's 10 of those, so there's some badger faces and some Shetlands and a few crossbreds things, and then these are ewes out of this group that aren't. So these are going to be going into our mutton boxes, feeding our customers really nice grass-fed mutton. So it's the perfect time of year to be buying mutton now, and it's so they've had a good few months to really enjoy the back, the lush grazing they get at the back end of the summer into the early autumn. So they're in really quite good condition, to be honest. They've all got
very few teeth left now because they're old ladies, to be honest, but that's why their mutton tastes so good. They've had years and years to develop the flavour on this grassland we've got. Nice sunny day by the sea. So we're just going to go and take these ewes back to where they were. They should hopefully just follow. Yeah. Follow and run past me, but that's okay. So we have got more sheep, thankfully. This hen wouldn't get us very far. So they know where they're going. They're pretty relaxed. We've had them years now, mostly, so I don't know if you can see, but there's a bird of prey just flown past. Just landed in that tree over there. So they're not doing too bad at this point. Like, they've got more grass than they need by a million miles, especially given there's now only 10 of them. But they're actually in quite good nick. Obviously the Shetland's really small, but they're a small breed. A couple of them have had fly strike. One of the badger faces I think have had fly strike, but even she's recovered. No, 2 of them actually. That one as well. You can see there's a little patch on there, well, one on their shoulder and one on their kind of hip. Yeah, and they had fly strike a couple of months ago, but they've actually recovered quite well from it, to be honest. They're easily good enough to have lambs again, which is fabulous. So, haven't decided which rams, which ones are going to yet. We'll have to get all the ewes together at some point and then break them up into groups for different different types of rams. Which we've got loads at the moment of rams, haven't we?
What have we got?
We've got about 7 rams, have we?
We've got Ford, Apollo, Boris, Gary, Asbo. Noble Barry doesn't count, does he?
Not really, no.
Yeah, we got 5.
5, that's not too bad. We got Ed still as well, but we're not going to use him again, are we?
Did he count?
Well, he counts because he's a ram, but he's kind of a retired ram at this point, so he's just with some of the weather lambs at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the next job.
rassurer la mif, j'ai changé de vie. Y'a rien qui est acquis, t'es fouetté l'abîme, tu perçais la vie. Les caméras filment, mais j'ai pas envie ma vie, dévoiler ma vie. J'ai changé d'avis pour changer l'avenir, des années à vivre.